Okay, so the next question, basically what they wanted to do is to run the chi-square test and calculate the chi-square stat. And they give you the alpha, which is 0.005. So the first part is determining the null hypothesis. And I want to bring to your attention, so here, the null hypothesis is given to you right here, right? All of this is from your book, so we're going to use it. So let me grab it and put it here. So the null hypothesis is always, for this section, is the proportion are the same for H0, all right? And for H1, or the alternative hypothesis, the proportion are different, all right? And if we look to our options, we have only one statement that is giving me exactly the same thing. So this will be C for me. So here the proportion pi1 and pi2 are equals, or the alternative pi1 and pi2 are different, right? Okay. So the next question is to calculate the chi-squared stat, all right? And how can we do this? All right, so first of all, let's fill up this data, right? And we might need this formula to put everything in one data, right? So here, this is the degree of freedom, which is this row. So the level of significance, according to the problem, is going to be 0.005. The number of rows, we have 2 rows, so 2. The number of columns, we have 2 columns, so 2 again. And over here, degree of freedom, so basically you have to multiply the number of rows minus 1 and then multiply it by the number of columns minus 1. How can I put it on Excel? You just have to create a formula for it. That's by clicking the equal sign and then open the parentheses. And you're gonna click on the number of rows, which is 2 over here, minus 1, close the parentheses, and then multiply, shift 8, open the parentheses, and then you're gonna be number of columns, which is 2. I'm gonna just click on it, and minus 1. So this formula is useful for us because if the contingency table changes its number of rows and columns, the formula degree of freedom still works, right? So I just have to change those numbers, how many rows, how many columns, and enter, and that's going to be 1. So your degree of freedom is 1. All right. So now what we are trying to calculate is this value, the chi-squared test statistics. And to do it, we need this formula here. So what the formula is saying you just have to add all the observed frequencies minus the expected frequencies squared divided by the expected frequencies. So in other words, if I have the observed values and the expected values, so I'm going to have to calculate first of all observed value minus the expected value, square it, and then divided by the expected value for all of them. After I finish finding all these values, I'm gonna add them all up, right? So how can you do this? So you wanna enter to function mode by clicking equal sign, open the parentheses, and then you're gonna click on the first value, upper right, observed value, and you're gonna do minus the first expected value, which is 20, close the parentheses, and then shift 6, that's the exponents, and 2, that's squared, and then divide, backslash, and then you click again on the expected value. All right, and right now I just did the first value from the observed minus expected squared divided by the expected. Enter. So I get 1.8. To find the remaining values is not difficult. You just have to grab that corner extend it to the next one, and then grab the corner again and extend it down. So the same shape that you have the setup in the beginning, you have to get the same thing, right? But notice here that the observed and expected are under the same columns. All right. Okay. So we get 4 values, and what we're gonna do finally, we're gonna just sum them up. So do you remember you have the sum over here, right? Okay. So to do the sum, I just need to go to chi-squared test equal sign, and to enter to the function mode, there is a function is called sum, S-U-M. So this is the sum in Excel. You're gonna do shift parentheses, shift 9. You open the parentheses, and then after the parentheses, you're gonna select all the numbers that are in orange. So I'll click on one and drag it all the way, right? So make sure that box have 4 numbers, and close the parentheses and enter. So I get the chi-squared test 5. Let's go and test it. Click here 5 and enter, and that's good.